Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have from 2004 the extremely popular, the obscure Canadian Crest. Canadian Crest. Bought this at Albertsons for what, $5.99? It's on sale for $5.99 perpetually. I never see it when it's not on sale for $5.99. Versus the strange and unaccountable Heir to the Throne. And I mean unaccountable because there's no website listing. Rebel Spirits seems to have been bought out and have disappeared from the scene. I bought this for I think it was $15.65 at Walmart on a closeout. It's a hard thing to figure out. They're both 40% alcohol. There's no age statement on either one that I can tell. No. Canadian Crest is one of those from the Founders Company, Louisville, Kentucky. The Founders Company is an alias for Sazerac. They do a lot of whiskeys, gins, rums, liqueurs under the Founders Company name. Canadian Crest Special Blend, authentic, well, meaningless terms, a distinguished blend of choice ingredients. Compose this delicate whiskey. Enjoy the distinctive experience of this Canadian blend. I don't know how it could be that fancy for $5.99. That's all just talk. Canadian blend, Canadian whiskey with natural flavors. In other words, one of those Sazerac flavored Canadian whiskeys that all taste suspiciously similar. You would almost think, no, can't be. Now, Heir to the Throne does not taste like any other Canadian whiskey I've had. It's unusual. I'm not saying it's real good. It's unusual. It's got a plastic twist. It's got a plastic cap. It's not a twist cap. It's just got little surface that you can grip it. And it's got a real cork. The aroma is like, it's like you would expect, grain alcohol aged in wood. It says oak casks. Nothing unusual because all Canadian whiskeys age in oak barrels. So, but it sounds nice. Okay. It's an unusual bottle. Talked about that before. The clarity of it. It's clear. It's amber. This is one of those greenish bottles. Like, you know, it looks clear, but if you let the light hit the solid part, it's kind of green looking. Oh, well. HT Heir Throne. CC Canadian Crest. I don't think the Canadian Crest is as clear. These Sazerac whiskeys tend to have a lot of chunks in them. Yeah, it's got sediment, little pieces of stuff floating around. G16110, so that would be the 110th day of 2016. Oh, there's a lot of suspended sediment. G is Glenmore. I guess they had a bottling plant in Louisville as well as Owensboro, Kentucky. I don't know that. I don't know what G is. That's a guess. Viewers might know. You can smell the rain in the air. The rain's coming. I'll try to do this before the rain hits. It may not happen. It's not going to be much, I don't think. Texas got the brunt of it. Yeah, they're both golden, light gold. The appearance is not different. What about the alcohol legs? I guess the Canadian Crest has alcohol eggs dripping down, and the Heir to the Throne really doesn't. They're not dripping anytime soon. They're just slowly starting to break away. That's kind of a strange appearance. I'd like to go walk half a mile before the rain starts and then walk another half and then another half later. Oh, yeah. I forgot to mix them up. Will you ever see Heir to the Throne? I don't know. I doubt it. But then as soon as I say that, then somebody will say, oh, that's pretty common where I live. I never heard of it before I saw it. I never heard of it after I saw it. I never saw it before or after. Okay? I saw it at that one Walmart. What did they have? 3 bottles in the purple boxes. I didn't keep the box. I figured, well, let me buy it because I'll probably never see it again. And I was right. But then, of course, I could see it coming up. But I doubt it. Do you get these oddball products out there? Yes. Get that with beer, too. Get some weird beers that you're never going to see again, like that Colt 45 cold filtered beer. Not the malt liquor. I'm not talking about Colt 45 malt liquor. Colt 45 cold filtered beer. I bought that at a grocery store in La Crosse, Wisconsin, on the same, actually, interestingly, right all along the same highway that I bought this whiskey, US Highway 61. Just a grocery store. I said, I told my friend Paul, let's go in there and look around. And I said, oh, look, Colt 45. I said, beer. Well, I'm buying that. Phil DeGrave says, what do you think about the Dixie beer from New Orleans? Well, it's really from Memphis these days because they have a contract. The Dixie brewery is not built yet. The new Dixie brewery. It's under construction. I like it. I preferred it when they were making it in Wisconsin, actually, in Monroe, Wisconsin, under contract at Joseph Huber Brewing. But they wanted it closer, so they went to the old Schlitz Brewery, City Brewing now in Memphis. I think it's pretty good. The light is not good. I don't like that new Dixie light. That's kind of like the 1970s recipe. I preferred the Dixie Jazz Amber Light, the Amber Light beer. My daughter said it was good too. The best one, though, is Dixie Black and Voodoo, the black Vienna lager. That was good before, and then after Katrina, it's still good. I missed the Crimson Voodoo, the red lager. When they get their brewery going, I'm going to write them an email and say, hey, y'all ought to bring back Crimson Voodoo. I like the old labels, too. It was like a swamp with a light shining into the swamp from the moon, like a full moon. It was spooky. Actually, they look like that. So somebody captured that swamp feeling really well on those old labels, the Black and Voodoo and the Crimson Voodoo. I think I'll be able to tell these two whiskeys apart because that Sazerac house character for their blended whiskeys, just the flavored blended whiskey gonna shine through. This smells like that. You get that nutty character. They don't use, the flavorings are like brandy, rum, bourbon, and some kind of wines. But there's so many combinations you could make from that, you'd never pin down the flavoring, and they're not going to tell you what it is. Yeah, it's got that little musty old house, old wooden furniture in a house kind of thing going. How can you describe it? You can't really. I could never adequately describe that. You would have to go drink it. And is it hard to get a Sazerac flavored whiskey? No. It may be hard to get a particular brand, but you could easily find Rich and Rare, Canadian Limited. They're everywhere. I think they're like everywhere in the country. Some of the other ones would be harder to pin down, harder to find. But they all have that similar flavor. So you're going to see, then you'll say, oh, this is strange. I never smelled or tasted this before in whiskey. Right. But then if you drink through their brands, you'd be like, oh, yeah, I see. I have some I never opened, like the Northern Lights, James Fox. I plan to get to them. It'll take forever. I know the viewers are getting irritated, but I don't know how else to do it. It's not like beer where you can just drink one bottle and then drink another bottle. You know, you have to just sip these down. Okay, this is Heir to the Throne. Why? It's a stark aroma. It's like just wood and some grain alcohol. At first I liked it, but what do I say? What do I preach? I'm always preaching more than doing reviews. If you review a whiskey in isolation, or gin, or a rum, or a brandy, doesn't matter, it's going to taste, almost invariably going to taste and smell different when you put it up against something. Once you bring the comparison in, it takes on a different character. That's my experience. Happy Friday Eve. Happy Friday Eve. All right, Joe. Joseph, happy Friday Eve. Back to you. There's a lot of wood character. Neither one of these have a harsh high rye. That Gibson's, boy, that stuff just put me off. And then the Whiskey Scout, he wasn't able to do the examination Monday night because he had an actual emergency. But he said he's fine. But he said that he didn't like it. So I said, good, I don't feel alone. Yeah, there's grain, corn, candy corn. There is some flavoring coming through though here. Maybe it is harder to pin down than I thought. I can't differentiate them as easily as I thought it was going to be. Which is a strike against the Heir to the Throne. I'm paying $15.65 and I'm having trouble telling it apart from $5.99. It's a serious problem when that happens. But this has more of that nut flavor, that it's almost like walnut oil or pecan or something. I don't know what it is. It comes out more as more it breathes, the more it comes out. Whoa, that's strange. Like if you're used to Jack Daniels or Jim Beam or Old Crow or oh man, like I'm trying to think of common American whiskeys. Old Forester, Early Times, McAfee's Old Number 8 Benchmark. This is going to taste like some exotic thing, like you say. I know you would say, what's up with Canadian whiskey? What's up with, it's so bizarre. You see, it's so bizarre. Or if you only drink Jameson Irish whiskey or Johnny Walker Red Label Scotch, this would seem like it's from like a whole another country. It is. It's from Canada, but it's their whole application is different. It's a different world, different world. Some people love it, and others just cannot stand it. And I don't know too many people that are in between, like, yeah, Canadian whiskey's okay. They're usually like, we love it or we hate it. And Canadian whiskey is the most popular whiskey in Louisiana, that being Crown Royal. By and far the most popular. It's not even close. I've talked about this in the past. Canadian, what do you call it? Crown Royal is so much more popular than the rest in Louisiana. It's really remarkable how popular it is. Now, in other states, now where you live, you might say hey, it's not really popular in Florida, or whatever. I'm talking about here, right here. Taste time. I wish I had bought a big bottle of that Canadian Leaf. But I bought that little sample bottle at Specs in Texas, and I figured, that's fine. But I wish I could have processed through a whole 750. I think it would have helped me understand it better. But too bad, I don't have it, and I don't see Canadian Leaf around here. There's nothing harsh about this. This is like the mildest thing you ever tasted in your life. It's pretty standard, basic flavor, but it's not bad. It's got to be Canadian Crest because that's what I noticed. It's just, now is Canadian Limited and Rich and Rare popular around here? Heck yeah. Really popular, and they have a similar flavor. All right. This is Heir to the Throne. Now, why do I say that? Well, it's more wood. It's probably aged longer. And it does have a little more what you would call straight whiskey in it. That's hard. With Canadian blended, it's hard to say that because it's really almost always just blend, blend, blend. It could be dozens of whiskeys blended in. Like Crown Royal is 50 different whiskeys, exactly 50 different ones. This one here tastes like maybe they're using a lot more straight bourbon. Could be like, I don't know what they're using. It could be, I mean, it could be a cheap bourbon, you know, like it might be something like McCormick straight bourbon. But that's still a straight bourbon. It's no grain neutral spirits. You know what I'm saying? Both of these are probably about 80% grain neutral spirits, corn, whiskey. And somebody was telling me, no, in Canada, they don't use grain neutral spirits. It's all whiskey. Well, no, it's just what they call it. All right. They call it grain whiskey, unaged grain whiskey. Well, that's what that is. Grain neutral spirits is neutral spirits made out of grain. And you know it's corn. But it could be rice. It could be barley, but it ain't because they're using the cheapest thing, which is corn, government subsidized grain. And it's clear, unaged grain distillate. You say, you mean moonshine? Exactly. It's the same thing. Okay. Black Velvet, being an American company that owns a Canadian distillery, Black Velvet, they call it grain neutral spirit. If you look at the Constellation Brands information PDF files, okay, PD files, but it's different terms for the same product, you know. And in Scotland they're going to call it grain whiskey, but it's clear it's not aged. Now I know what Canadian viewers are going to say, oh no, there's where you're wrong because it has to be aged 3 years. That's right. They take the grain neutral spirit, they take the bourbon, the rum, the brandy, the corn high wine, the barley high wine, whatever, the rye high wine, maybe a good deal of rye high wine, to make up that 20%. They blend them together and they age them in a barrel. That's what they do with Black Velvet. It's blended then aged. They say it helps it kind of like saute together. You know what I mean? I know what you're going to say. Now, other Canadian whiskeys, they age them, then they blend them. Well, okay, they're taking grain neutral spirits, they're putting it in a barrel, and they're aging it for 3 years. Well, now it's whiskey. It's not bourbon because it's not made in the United States. It's not bourbon because they're using almost assuredly a used barrel, charred but used. So now it's a 3-year age grain alcohol, grain whiskey. I'm sorry, grain whiskey. Then they blend it with the other straight whiskeys and they got Canadian whiskey. This is not complicated, but you have to learn, you have to know about it. So before you jump up telling me, you're wrong, you're wrong. No, I'm not wrong. Okay. You got to know the processes, or as the Canadians would say, the process. Are there different processes? Yes. Is it the same general principle? Yes. Okay, so this is clearly Heir to the Throne over here. I'm going to look. I'm going to tell you now. I don't know which one's better yet. I have a feeling I know, but yeah, HT, Heir Throne, Heir to the Throne. There you go. Aroma, a little tricky, honestly. Flavor, no tricks. It's clear cut, about as clear cut as it would ever be in your life. Hey, Ronald, says M. Dan. Hey, Dan, M. Dan. Now, which one tastes better? This is totally personal appearance. A personal appearance, right? Personal preference. They're both well made, so man, these glasses take a fingerprint like you would not believe. Boy, if you ever commit a crime, don't use a Glencairn glass. You'll be caught so easily. Never seen glasses attract fingerprints like these things. Well, it's very pleasant. Canadian Crest is very pleasant. Would I recommend it? Sure. $5.99 a bottle at Albertsons grocery store. Why not? I mean, it might be $6.99 where you live, but it's so inexpensive. People might say, that's rot gut. That's trash. No, it isn't rot gut and it isn't trash. It's not, you know, it's not a 24-year age straight, you know, a 24-year age single malt scotch, but $90 a bottle. But then you knew that when you paid $6.99 at Albertsons, right? You know, you have some perspective, hopefully. Now over here, does this rival Crown Royal? I don't know. It has a thinner body, and there's some like orange peel flavor in this. It's like they did not. But it's almost like they put an orange liqueur. What do you call that stuff? You know what I'm talking about? That orange liqueur. It's like it has that, like a orange peel, not the juice so much, but an orange peel. It's very unusual, but it's nothing bad. It's a little thinner body, a little cleaner maybe. I guess Heir to the Throne's better. Maybe it's more like on the Crown Royal level, but or the Seagram's VO Gold, Seagram's VO Gold level. You know, that $20 bottle thing, which I still see around all the time now. Supposed to be discontinued 2 years ago, but it's still hanging out there on the shelves. But that could be for years. And Sazerac might bring it back anyway. But which one's better? It's hard to say. I can't say really that I would pay $10 more for this Heir to the Throne. It might be better, you know, but it ain't $10 a bottle better. And that was a closeout sale, so it was even more than that. Well, were the Walmart customers impressed? No, I don't suppose they were, since they were trying to get rid of it on a closeout sale. It wasn't exactly flying off the shelves. It was a curiosity piece. People probably saw Heir to the Throne and said, dude, what is Heir to the Throne? And they just, you know how beer, wine, and liquor drinkers are, right? They got their brand and they never deviate. You might say, well, you're a whiskey drinker. Yeah, but I'm not a typical whiskey drinker. I like to jump the brands, you know, go here, there. But most people don't. They're like dedicated to Crown Royal. That's all they're going to drink. And you say, well, why don't you try this? No. Yeah, but this Canadian whiskey might be. No. They're just not going to. I remember Walmart was selling this this cognac brandy from France. Not Belgium, France. I can't remember the name. Pretty bottle. It was about $21 a bottle. But I noticed the last month or so it's gone. Because it probably wasn't selling. People are not going to deviate. They say, I drink Hennessy, and that's all I drink. I drink Courvoisier. That's all I'm drinking. I drink, you know, and they just don't deviate. So Walmart's got those brands, Courvoisier, Hennessy, all the different variants. That's what people buy. They got the Remy Martin, Saint-Remy French brandy. They got the Parmesan in all the flavors. That sells like crazy. They got the E&J. That sells like crazy. And that's it. Do they have a big variety of brandy at Walmart? No. Why? Because people ain't going to buy it. Now, Dorignax does, but Dorignax is in Old Metairie, kind of an upper middle class area where you got people that's going to try different things because they got the money to do it, and they're just different. Here, lower middle class, basically. So they're going to say, I drink my Parmesan. But they'll probably say it like, man, I'm drinking my Paul Mason. I'll say, you what? Yeah, man, I love my Paul Mason. I say, well, it's Paul Masson, right? Paul Masson. Yeah, not Paul Mason, but I hear people saying that. I loves my Paul Mason. And I'm like, Paul Mason. Or I hear people saying that, like they love, I love Morgan David. Morgan David. Yeah, you know that wine, Morgan David. But that'd be some good stuff. And I'm like, it's not Morgan David because there's no R, you know, it's just Mogen, Mogan David. Mogan David, if you want to say Mogan David. That's just like a personal pet peeve where people pronounce things wrong, you know. And I think that goes back to illiteracy in America. We have a lot of people that are functionally illiterate. I mean, they can read Big Mac and stop just because those are like sight words, but phonics is really bad in America. They don't really teach phonics properly. So you got people going around talking about Morgan David. And there's clearly no R anywhere in that word, in that title. Oh, man. All right. I guess me gave me the shivers. So I was like, personally, I think I prefer the Canadian Crest. I just like that kind of strange Sazerac flavoring thing. John and Neely doesn't particularly like it over there at Georgia Beer Reviews, but you know, that's a pro. I might get used to the Heir to the Throne. It is good. It is commendable. It's not trash, you know. But I don't know, something about that orange peel or that, maybe it's like a marmalade, not a marmalade. I don't know what it is, a chutney thing. That's made with mango, huh? Chutney. I don't know. It's something. I can't get it right, but it's something. A lot of wood. So I guess Canadian Crest wins by virtue of price. Price versus quality. Just the quality doesn't override the price differential. Oh, just off topic question for you. Do you know much about Japanese whiskey, says M. Dan? No, I don't. I do know a few things, that most Japanese whiskey is blended, and it's a mimic. It tends to be a mimic of blended Scotch whiskey because that's who helped the Japanese develop their whiskey industry in the early 1900s. British distillery masters, mostly Scotch distillery masters. So what they do with the Japanese whiskey is they use the smoked elements. They try to recreate that, but they're using rice as an adjunct generally. In East Asia, rice being more common than corn. So initially you'll taste it like the Suntory Tokai, and you'll say, oh, yes, it's Scotch. But then when you think on it, you think about it while you're drinking it, you say, ooh, there's something different about this. It has sort of like a Budweiserian rice thing going on. And that is because it's rice. And my friend David said, I can catch that right off the bat, that rice character. Being that we're from South Louisiana, you eat a lot of rice, and you can start really detecting it. So Japanese whiskey is unique. It's good. My friend, now David doesn't like it. He's like, I don't like this stuff. I got ripped off. I said, it tastes good to me. It's exotic and strange to us, our palate. But to me, I thought it was good. I didn't taste a Japanese whiskey yet that I didn't think was just terrific. Really terrific. So tomorrow. Will it be tomorrow or today? This I don't know. But either today or tomorrow, I'm planning to do the Bacardi Reserva Ocho, the current 8-year version, versus Skull rum. Oh yeah, Bacardi's gonna win, you know, because it's a $30 bottle and Skull's $6.99 for the liter at Savannah Discount at least. Oh no, I'm sorry, International Market in Metairie. But that's gonna be an interesting contest because that Skull, and I've heard people say Skull. Oh no, not that stuff. I don't know. It seems to perform much higher than its price range. It has a lot of intricate things that you don't pick up at first if you're just rushing through it, you see. So I'm very, very excited. I don't know if I'll be able to wait till tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I'd be so gung-ho to do it. The Skull. But I know who's going to win, but I think it's going to be very interesting. When you bring price into play, though, it may not win. I don't know. I was watching some rum videos last night from the rums of Puerto Rico, and I'd like to try some more of those, the really good ones, the Don Q, and all these. I said, ooh, I want to try. Thank you, says M. Dan. You're welcome. And I want to thank y'all for watching this taste challenge. It was a little more challenging than I thought, but it wasn't super challenging. Now, the next one coming up Saturday morning is the Heir to the Throne versus the Albertsons. Albertsons being very, very, very similar to Canadian Crest. Not identical, but it may as well be identical, right? And then, but the Albertsons, you know what I paid for that? $4.99. $4.99 for the bottle of Albertsons. That's an insane price, but a real true price. But it might have been closing it out. Thanks for watching this video production.